So there's a myth that English is really pretty crazy, and it's a lot more systematic and structured than you might think. One thing we want to look at when we look at English is how things are spelled rather than how they're pronounced. The meaning of words can often guide our spelling more efficiently than the way they're pronounced. Let me talk to you about an interesting example. The word one, this is a word every kid knows the meaning of, but it's a tricky word to spell. One of the reasons it's tricky is because it really doesn't sound like it's spelled in a lot of ways. If its orthography or its spelling represented its phonology or its pronunciation, it would rhyme with bone, stone, and phone, wouldn't it? While the meaning link between once and one is obvious, when students learn the connections between none, which literally is no one, and one, they can make even deeper connections. Interestingly, in other words derived from the same common root, the orthography is reflected in the pronunciation. Hence we have lone and alone. Alone actually is compounded from all and one. Making the meaning connection between one, alone, and lonely can help struggling spellers make a better spelling choice, since in those words the ONE is pronounced as one would expect. Older students can learn the meaning of a tone literally at one and cement their understanding of that word even as they cement the correct spelling of its simpler sister, one. Another good example is the number two. While students will understand its meaning, its pronunciation and spelling may prove difficult. Its spelling or orthography is not reflected in its pronunciation, two. Interestingly, in other words derived from the same common root, the orthography is reflected in the pronunciation. Hence, you hear the W sound in twin, twice, 12, and 20. Consider also twine, which is made of two interwoven strands. Between and betwixt, two things. And twig, a single limb splitting off from the main trunk. Making the morphological connection between two, twin, and twice can help struggling spellers make a better spelling choice. The base MORPH means form or shape and comes from the Greek root morphe, which means form, shape, beauty, or outward appearance. I love this because it emphasizes the appearance, the letter configuration, rather than the pronunciation or the sound configuration of these morphemes. As Louisa Moats noted in her seminal article, How Spelling Supports Reading in American Educator, meaning trumps pronunciation in the spelling of hundreds of English words. H-E-A-L appears in the words heal and health. You can see that the pronunciation is different, but the meaning part is spelled the same in both. P-L-E-A-S-E appears in please. You drop the E to add the suffix A-N-T to make pleasant. Again, pronunciation is different, but the core morpheme or meaning part remains consistent. This works for words like inspire and inspiration, for report and opportunity, and for sign and signal. If you think about the meaning part or the morpheme, it can lead you to correct spellings, even when that morpheme might not be reflected in the pronunciation.